Hello, everybody. This is Eric from Ronin's Den. Steve is off today playing a game of Ars Magica, so I'm here by myself in the den with the pooches. And so you know what that means? RPG horror stories. And I found a couple of them, and one of them is just so hilarious in my opinion. It absolutely is. Let's go ahead and dive into these, shall we? The first one is new DM uses ChatGPT for everything. And it reads, I'm in a sci-fi campaign. It started pretty simple. They'd sent out the document explaining the lore to me, and it was very clearly an edited ChatGPT response. I didn't really mind at first. I'm a longtime DM, so I know how hard it can be to come up with your lore in a coherent way. And the fact that it had been edited made it a little less of a red flag. Did it really, though? Did it really? I joked about it in session 0, and they brushed it off. Then in the first session, they revealed that our spaceship would have an AI, and that it was just ChatGPT text-to-speech. Did they actually say, though, that it was the AI in the ship was ChatGPT text-to-speech, or did you figure that out during play? I thought it was kind of cool at first, if a little lazy, but then when we actually got into the session, I noticed that they type as the players spoke. Take a 20-second pause and then read something from the screen. Every single response from them was ChatGPT. Okay, yeah, so you figured it out during play. They would question what they were reading as if they read it out loud, as if they hadn't even proofread it before beginning. Should I leave? I know it's only done one session so far, but to me it's an unbelievable red flag. Why even become a DM if you're going to let ChatGPT do all the work? Edit, just for clarification. It's not just the descriptions that are AI. It's the NPC dialogue too. We'll all say something to an NPC and they take up to 20 seconds to respond, and they ask us to talk amongst themselves while we wait because they're typing our responses in. Oh, wow. Okay. So, if you have no intention of learning how to run a game and you're just going to let ChatGPT do it, don't become a DM, in my opinion. It is being a DM, a GM, a storyteller. It's not about plugging things in the prompts and getting answers. It's a collaborative experience where you're looking to tell a story together. And this AI ChatGPT thing removes the human element from it completely. This is extremely lazy, very problematic, and it's, I don't know, in my opinion, it's just kind of gross, right? Like, I don't play D&D, Rifts, Fabula Ultima, any tabletop role-playing game for it to just be computer generated. I want a fun story time with friends experience, either on Discord or around my kitchen table. Should you leave? Absolutely. I think the campaign is just going to continue to get worse from that point. And at some points, it's just going to be so nonsensical because ChatGPT is not going to know what the hell to do with it. Your characters are going to ask, what should we do to navigate from this planet to the other one? And the computer's going to print something stupid out like, eat a ham sandwich with a chocolate chip cookie. Cat wears hat. Like, yeah, no. Get out of that game. And Game Master, if you're running your game via ChatGPT, quit while you're ahead. All right, the next one. This one was a doozy. It read, a couple got angry that I wouldn't DM spicy things for them. Before we even start reading this one, people, conduct good session zeros, in-depth session zeros, consent sheets. This post is a shining beacon on why that's important. But anyway, it reads, my dudes, I think I've met the strangest people on Earth this past week. Absolutely insane folks. Not much to the story, really. My usual group couldn't play, but I still wanted the DM. So I posted an announcement on a big Discord server looking for players. Got a few replies pretty fast, and the table was set. I had a quick chat with those interested, but looking back, I probably should have done a more in-depth interview. Anyway, I didn't. I got 4 players. 2 of them were friends, online friends from what I can tell, and the other 2 were randoms. I held a quick session 0, talking about my style of game, character building, and making sure everyone was comfortable with things. That sort of stuff. You know, a basic session 0. Session 1 went pretty smoothly. I wasn't trying to reinvent the wheel, but the session went on without a problem. I had fun, and I assumed the others did too. That was it. Or at least that's what I thought. A few hours after the session, I got added to a group chat on Discord by 2 of the players who knew each other. I didn't check it right away, but when I finally did, they were already so many messages. So many messages. They were kind of role-playing their characters in some kind of downtime roleplay, I guess. But the things they were posting were not things I was okay being exposed to. It was honestly really explicit. As soon as I saw it, which was shocking to be honest, I left the chat. One of the players almost immediately messaged me to rejoin it, saying that I needed to be up to date on their roleplay so I could introduce it to real sessions. Nope, no way. That's what I told the player. I didn't want to have anything to do with that. They did not take it well. Not at all. Proof? My DMs got flooded with every kind of insult you can think of. They even went on the server where they'd been recruited and filed a formal complaint about me, claiming I was limiting their creative flow by making their experience miserable. They also called me all sorts of phobic things just because I didn't want to be part of that kind of roleplay. Look, you can roleplay anything you want, but if it's explicit, do it on your own PMs. Don't involve me or anyone who doesn't want to be part of it. It took me a bit to explain everything to the server admins, but apparently those 2 were already on some kind of complaint list. So the table was dropped and they got banned from the server. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. Just absolutely insane. Insane. And poster, it is insane. And you did a good job. You ran a session 0. You probably didn't cover everything because it was a quick session 0. And some things, honestly, I should say, don't really need to be covered in every session 0. We talk about running, complete session 0s, but you can't account for everything during that initial setup session, right? There are going to be things that you forget to say, I'm not comfortable with this. Or you would just assume that unless the game is focusing on some kind of material, that it just wouldn't be brought up. And I'm kind of getting the vibe that this was erotic role play that was going on. And I would say it's a pretty safe assumption that most games, unless they are set up for erotic role play, won't include it. Like my normal game, that I run on every other Monday and the one that I run every other Friday, I didn't put no erotic role play in my session 0 rules. But the games themselves don't deal with content where that should even come up during the course of play. Now, if it did, I would pump the brakes on it and be like, hey, I really don't want this at my table. And I have every right as a game master to say that and enforce that rule. Players just don't get to add whatever they want to the table, just like GMs don't just get to add whatever they want to the table. Everybody has to agree to it and be willing and accepting of it so it's a safe, fun, inclusive environment. And when somebody says, I don't want this here, regardless if it's a player or it's a GM, it needs to stop. The X card has been thrown on the table. It's done. Fade to black. Do it in your DMs. And it's really a bad look to then start insulting that person in their DMs because they didn't want to be part of it. Hey, you folks want to do that ERP in your private messages? Have fun with it. I don't want to see it. I'm not going to do anything with it. But you guys do you. Have fun. Very reasonable. Immediately insulting the person that wants to dip out, problematic as hell. And then the part that really pissed me off was this one right here, where they went on the server and they called the DM all sorts of phobic things just because they didn't want to be part of that role play. Those are very hefty insults that carry stiff real-world penalties. In a lot of situations, if somebody is labeled a phobic, it instantly becomes their issue to prove that they're not. And on some of these Discord servers, just the accusation is enough to have somebody thrown off the server. Which, like, I get it, but still, like, you need to be careful when making those types of accusations. And you need to be making them in a way that the person is actually guilty of that, or you have some evidence that shows that they are. Because simply not wanting to be part of, in this situation, I'm assuming erotic roleplay, doesn't make somebody a phobic at all. Especially this follow-up line right here where it says, look, you can roleplay anything you want, but if it's explicit, do it on your own PMs. That is don't involve me or anyone who doesn't want to be part of it. That is so reasonable. So reasonable. But yeah, I'm glad to hear that this DM didn't suffer any repercussions on the server that they got these players from, and these problematic players were dropped from the server, because this is just not okay behavior. It really isn't. So, there we go. A couple RPG horror stories for this week, and some updates of what we got going on here in Ronin's Den. So we are almost done with our 1 year of one-shots here on the Den. We're going to be playing Ryutama at the end of this month, and then in December we're going to be doing Monster of the Week. After that, we are starting a new campaign that's going to be played bi-weekly of Fabula Ultima. Steve's going to be the storyteller for that one. I'm going to get to play, and we're going to be opening up auditions and requests to be part of the cast for that at the beginning of the year. To go along with that, we're going to be doing Fabula Ultima build guides to make some of your favorite NPCs and characters from movies, animes, video games, and we're even going to recreate different classes from other tabletop role-playing games. So we might show you how to make your favorite D&D character in Fabula Ultima. And we're going to start a series of in-depth guides on how to play Fabula Ultima from the ground up. And we're going to start our first one with a session 0, going into character creation, and then the different rules and mechanics that exist within that game. If people enjoy that, we'll probably step outside of Fabula Ultima as well and look at some other systems that are not Dungeons & Dragons or Pathfinder to talk about the mechanics and how those games work as well, along with any online support tools that exist for them. But that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by to Ronin's Den. Again, my name's Eric, or GM Duality Complex. If you could, drop a like and a subscribe on the video. That helps us out a ton. We have Fabula Ultima's The Rotted Beast launching every other Monday, and the Nightbane game Dark Day on every other Friday. And as always, we record every Saturday for our normal show. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening, folks.